I can just, and we're back. Here I am, Fly Navarro with Fly Zone Fishing. I'm here with Deyo, with D-Dey.
Hey guys.
I'm not just here showing you my leg, but Don, you're going to talk about a fracture.
We're not doing a waxing demo?
No, that's later on in the day. Stand by for that one.
Fracture. Okay, and so fractured bones, right? In most cases, a fractured bone right now is not going to kill somebody. Now, if that fractured, those bone ends have severed an artery or vein and there's severe bleeding, the fracture is secondary, we're going to stop the bleeding.
Correct.
But right now, we just have a fractured bone. And prior to moving somebody, to assist with pain management, putting some type of splint on here is really important.
Okay.
One of the things with, let's say the leg, we're dealing with the leg, right here in the center of your shin, that's our fracture site. Whether it's opened or closed, okay? If it's opened, infection is a concern, but right now we're gonna let the doctors deal with that when we get to the medical facility. We got a fracture site right here. What we need to think about is, this is gonna start swelling. I personally like removing the shoe or boot unless something is affected here in the bones, but it's not. We got a fracture site right here. A big thing is we don't want to start grabbing this. We're not medical professionals unless you have further training. Don't start grabbing and manipulating this thing. The bone ends are sharp. We can create more pain and more damage, okay? So one of the first things we want to do is I like using any type of cloth, to be honest with you. You can improvise. This could be 2 to 3 inch cuts of shirt, pants, towel, whatever. Right now I'm using triangular bandages because they're nice and convenient. And if you look right here, there's usually a natural void under everybody's knee when they're sitting flat. And I can feed this under here, and I don't even have to move their leg at all, okay? I'm gonna bring one down here at one end. I'm gonna bring another one right here below the fracture site, and then I'm gonna have one just above the fracture site. Now, when we start talking about splints, right here what I have is an aluminum splint wrapped in foam. These are very flimsy initially, right? Everybody says, oh, how's that gonna work? What's nice is they're compact and can fit into your medical kit, and you can take them into these remote areas, these austere environments, have them with you at all times. The first thing you wanna do is measure that splint. When we talk about a fracture site, we really want to encompass the joint above and the joint below, if at all possible. So in this case right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this a little bit longer. So basically it's gonna take care of that joint above and joint below. With these aluminum foam wrapped splints, the way they get there, the way we make them rigid is we just gutter them. If you see right here how I'm guttering that, down the whole splint.
You just kind of fold it right down the middle.
And now that's making it rigid. That's gonna help, that's gonna assist with us right there. That makes it rigid.
Interesting.
Okay? So if I'm by myself, I do not wanna move this leg. I can actually simply put the splint on this side of the leg, and as you see, I've already got my ties in place. I like tying it on the splint side. This splint can be a rolled up newspaper, an axe handle, a stick out in the woods, right? It doesn't have to be a commercial grade splint, although they are usually quicker and work better. I like putting my knots on the splint material. I secure it above the fracture site and below the fracture site first. This helps a lot with pain, okay? And especially if we have to move somebody, we want to make sure that we have this fracture stable. Now, a lot of people get a fracture like this. We splint it, they may be able to walk with assistance, okay? That's one thing. If they're not able to walk, and we're gonna have to carry them out somehow, we can go ahead and bring that other leg up and even tie the other leg to the fractured leg, and that will assist in splinting it as well.
Making it more secure.
Absolutely.
Well, there's the first step when you fracture a bone. So guys, thanks for joining us here in the Fly Zone.